Bombers take on Richmond on Saturday night at the MCG. Ego, what changes have you made?
Yeah, we've made two changes. So two forwards come out. Sean Edwards has gone out and Paddy Ambrose.
And into the side, we heard during the week that Paul Chapman's going to come in for his final game, and also Connor McKenna.
Yeah, some youth and an old bugger in this week. We've got Paul Chapman playing his last game for the club, so obviously been a fantastic player. And had a really good season last year, and hopefully finishes off strong for us this week. And Connor McKenna, great story obviously, over from Ireland, and had some super games in the VFL. Kicked 4 goals at a game against Geelong in Etihad. Been really consistent. We've tried to make him, made sure that he was really confident before we brought him in, and the club's really excited about him.
Mark Bagley's a guy whose form's held up pretty well across the year. What qualities does he have that makes him so competitive and so strong each week for the team?
Yeah, he's had a really consistent year, and he's been one in some games where we've had bad losses. He's been the one that just kept giving really good effort. So what you spoke about, he's an absolute competitor. He works on his game extremely hard, so yeah, he's always wanting to do more, and kicking's been his focus this year, which I think's really improved. He takes the short targets with no hesitation now. Early in his career, he probably did. So look, hopefully he finishes off the last 2 games really strong. He probably dipped in his form a little bit last week, and he's going to play on some great players this week. Cochin, Delidio, Martin when he goes forward, so he'll play an important role for us.
Richmond have been pretty strong defensively recently. What do our midfield and our forward line need to do to ensure we can kick enough goals?
They've had an excellent year in defence. They're ranked 4th, which we were last year, so they've taken our spot. They've got a mixture of pressing the ground at times to make the ground really small and defend areas and make you try to kick long a lot. And they've got some great defensive players in Rance, who's all Australian form, and Chaplin, who's had a pretty good year, and some really important rebounders for him down there in Hooley. So there's going to be a balance. We're going to have to try to be like last week, move the ball quick and take the options when they're there when we can, and also if they lock us into corners, just be willing to kick it down the line.
Just getting back to Connor McKenna, was there a point during this season where you thought he can play AFL footy this year?
Yeah, the Geelong game was probably the one that stood out. He just loved the conditions, obviously, and he kicked 4 goals. I think 3 were snaps. Obviously, using the round ball his whole life, he finds kicking around the corner really natural, and that's probably where he stood up. He's had some really good training performances where he's just played on certain players, and you thought, geez, he looks ready. But the guys probably worked with him most, Paul Corrigan, Harry Corrigan, they just wanted to be patient with him, make sure that he really understood the structures and what we needed from him before we gave him his opportunity. And last week he played really well in an important win for the VFL and went to the wing a little bit, so it's just all part of his development.
Obviously the club's had a lot of injuries to deal with, but are you happy with the way the guys that have come in have taken their opportunity?
Yeah, I've spoken about a little bit that our best contested players probably haven't been there a lot of the year. So David Myers and Job and Heath Hocking's just come back into the team. So there's been opportunity for a lot of guys throughout the year. So you've probably seen Zach Merritt get there more before he went down. It's good to see Nick O'Brien get some opportunity. He's obviously been playing the VFL for 3 years without much opportunity, and even seeing different guys roll through there more often. So Jaden Laverty's gone in there for parts of games, and David Zaharakis starting to get some form, and that's probably because he's getting around the ball a little bit more.
All right, well, good luck on Saturday night, Egan.
Thank you.